For years now, we've been enjoying the Mi Bands. This is Xiaomi's fitness tracker for many years now. Small, portable, affordable, but always featured, offered us a lot more than what they're asking for on the price point. And now we're actually entering into the Pro series, the Smart Band 7 Pro from Xiaomi, that's given us the ability of having some new Pro features, namely Alexa and GPS functionality on a fitness tracker from Xiaomi. This is TK and this is my review of the Xiaomi Smart Band 7 Pro. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So this is the actual Smart Band 7 Pro. The actual band itself comes with the charger and pretty much just the instruction manual is inside of the box. This was launched along the same time as the Xiaomi 12T Pro and the 12T last week in Munich. I was at the launch event, but I needed a little bit more time. So if you definitely want to be able to check out that video, make sure to check out that video. It's already on the channel. But the main benefit here that we're getting overall is that we're getting the watch. It's already pre-assembled with the band. This does feature interchangeable bands. You're able to basically change them if you want to. Some of the main talking points, which is 150 plus watch faces, sleep monitoring, plus always all day basically SpO2 heart rate monitoring, long battery life for up to 2 weeks, 5 atmosphere water resistant, means you can take a shower, swim in it. As long as you don't go deep sea diving with it, you should be pretty fine with it, as this will handle almost anything we can throw at it. Of course, one of the other things that we've seen here is the improvement with the larger 1.64-inch rectangular AMOLED display, supports on-wrist running courses of 117 modes, of course, to be able to track it, built-in GPS with GNSS support, and of course, magnetic charging cable, which makes it easy to actually clamp on and charge it when you need it to top off. Although you're probably not going to need to you're not going to need to charge it very quickly, as it lasts for weeks. Now, as I mentioned to you guys, the charging cable is a USB Type A, should be able to use any kind of USB port available to you. I've been charging it using my PC, and of course, when you need to charge it, just clamp it. It is magnetic and it definitely holds the watch. So if you ever need to dangle the cable, this is going to work perfectly fine. When you're done, take it off and you're ready to use it. Pretty straightforward, and unfortunately it is proprietary. You do need to bring this with you, but for the most part, I honestly will say this. I charged it once 2 weeks ago when I first got this, and I still haven't been able to kill the battery. I'm actually still running, if I'm not mistaken, at about 25%. Definitely very nice for a smart band, and I've traveled with this, of course. So let's go ahead and check out and see all of the new features. Now, when we're looking at the watch, as I mentioned to you guys, 1.64-inch AMOLED display. It is activated by touch by default, and you are able to turn on an always-on display as well as a raise to wake. So those are things you need to be aware of. There is no speaker. There is one microphone sitting here on the right side, and that's because this now supports Alexa.
Turn off the office light. Turn on the office light.
Overall, it works as advertised. The display is very nice. Touching it once, turning it on. On the left, we have access to the control panel or the settings. So we have access to be able to turn on the settings, a stopwatch, also to be able to on-wrist detection, sleep mode, or of course, flashlight in case you want to be able to turn that on. Last but not least, if you swipe to the right side, you have some of the other options like Alexa on this one, the weather, music player if the music is running, and of course, anything else that you add directly from the system. Swiping from the bottom takes you directly into the applications that are built in here. And of course, swiping back down takes us back home. Swiping from the top down takes us directly into our notifications, and you can actually go in there. And it actually does a pretty decent job of showing us all the notifications. But what I really enjoy here is obviously the watch faces that we have in here. You're able to basically change them. Let's go ahead and press and hold for a second here. Now, there are predetermined or preloaded ones that are built in directly into the watch or the smart band. And of course, you're able to change them and configure them to the way you want. I've done an unboxing straight on Instagram if you guys want to check it out, but this one seems to be my favorite watch face, as it actually provides me not only the step counting information, also provides me the calorie burn, as well as the weather, and of course it gives us the ability of enjoying everything on it. On the bottom, we have the sensors and of course the magnetic clamp. These little pins on the side here on the right and left enable us to change the band in case you want to. The band itself is definitely very nice. Sorry for the oil here, I've been wearing it for quite some time. But you definitely see here that it works, and for me, it worked really nicely. It does technically feature a larger band, but it should work fine for almost everybody, as it does actually go all the way down to a very skinny wrist, although I'm not sure who has them, but it could definitely go very small if you want to basically maybe put it on a kid or somebody younger of age. Definitely should not be a problem. And you can see the displays look both very nice. Now, one thing I will say, obviously, there's a big benefit of having something bigger in this format. A microphone for Alexa as well as GPS tracking when we're doing outdoor running is definitely very nice. I appreciate the smarter functionalities that we added in here by adding the Alexa, the Amazon Assistant, and of course being able to run routines through it, which makes this very functional for us. Now, if I touch it again, swipe it over. Actually, let's go ahead and do one thing here. I want to show you guys real quick at the settings tab. Under display, you're able to go in on the always on display or raise to wake, and you can definitely set it up by, so you can save some battery if you'd like, of what time to turn it on and turn it off. And of course we can go in here, and then last but not least, we also have the ability of turning on always on display. So we can say smart, and then of course this will affect battery life. You need to be aware. Turning on extra features will always do this. So if I go ahead and put my hand on it, you can see here it is an ever so gentle and basically dim always on display that enables you to see the time, although in analog format it is very nice and simple. You can turn it on and turn it off if you want to. For me, I always kept the always on display off, as it definitely didn't provide me a lot more information. I like to actually keep raise to wake, and this is a quick shortcut for it here. You press it on, turn it off. So basically whenever I turn it on and I do raise to wake, it'll raise and it'll obviously turn on the display. You have the ability of turning on vibration, do not disturb, auto detect, app layout, of course, pin if you want to set it up, system as far as restart, rebooting, or resetting it, and about the band for updated information. The band display, you can go in there and customize the different options. Again, we already looked at the ones we have available, and you can definitely download additional ones directly on your phone. One thing I really like about it, it also features a camera application trigger that enables us to actually use the camera app on our Xiaomi device, or should be on any Android device. So go ahead, turn it on, activate it, and then at this point I can actually snap a picture, and it'll snap the picture directly from my phone. Very nice. Although it does not come with a preview, I wish that would have been something. It is there. Of course, we have stopwatch, flashlight, find my phone, settings, and of course basically if you want to scan to help. Settings tab takes us back into the normal setup. All of these things are very nice. All the thing I would probably say is everything is basically running on touch. There is no button here, so if I'm in the settings tab and I want to be able to go back, I need to go back, swiping back to it. I can swipe away, and always make sure to register the swipe from the corner edge to the side so that you can actually make the swipe. Otherwise, it may actually be missing it. But otherwise, it's pretty responsive and very nice. Clearing the notification works pretty good. Let's go ahead and check out the app on the phone. Now on the phone, we need to download the Mi Fitness application. This is, or the Mi Health application. It's pretty straightforward. You add the actual device directly from there so that it actually registers it. There was one update that I needed to download and install on it once I paired the band directly into my 12T Pro. The big thing I would probably say is you can see here 435 calories burned, 7,416 steps, 37 minutes of workout as opposed to the 30 minutes recommended. You can see the steps here, the standing hours, obviously we're walking around doing a lot. Now one thing we can also do under the workout mode is initiate a workout. You can specifically pick one out, set it up, outdoor running, indoor running, and of course customize it. And from there on, all you need to do is basically start the activity, and it'll start on your watch, and you can walk away and come back from it. The other thing we can also do here when we get into the device tab is the ability of customizing certain aspects. So we see here definitely the Xiaomi Smart Band 7 Pro connected, battery percentage 25%, band display, you can definitely customize the ones, and of course go online and download additional ones. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but you can definitely check them out and download the one that you like, and it should work perfectly fine for you. App notifications, you can customize it here, provided the ability of downloading or at least pushing notifications to your watch. Incoming calls as well, if you'd like to be able to get notified when calls are coming in. You won't be able to actually have a conversation since it does not have a speaker, but you should be able to get notified by it as well. Background permission if you want to be able to keep it so that it doesn't kill the application in the background. Heart rate, sleep, blood oxygen, stress, and standing, of course, all of those customizations. Alarm, events, weather, and camera. This is the camera functionality we talked about. You can turn it on. You pair it over to the actual phone as opposed to by default having it turned on. So you do need to set that up once, and then from there you should work with the device that you have. Widgets, you can go ahead and customize, add different widgets. Right now I have Amazon Alexa, weather, music. You can add all the different options in there, and of course just go add them in there, plus, and of course it takes a second, but then you'll start being able to see them on the watch by just swiping to the right, and then you can see the additional options here all added automatically, and you can remove them if you don't want to by just bringing them down and bringing them below the hidden line, and that removes them from the list. Very nice, very simple, very easy. Sorting applications as well, we can do that with the application. App layout, pretty much the way we have it, either grid or list form, depending on your preference. And last but not least, PIN and unlocking the phone. If you'd like to do that, you can use the system. Help center updating for firmware information. Right now it's running 2.1.32. That's the latest version as of today. And last but not least, about device will show us the serial number and information pertinent to the actual unit. Under profile, this is basically my connected me account. This is the way you'd be able to log in and set up and make sure you track your information. The big thing obviously is that you log in with your account. You can obviously set it up to connect to Strava if you want to be able to use it there. Also, if you like to use the Zep app, you can transfer your information there. Device permission setting, app permission versions, and of course about the app. All this information pretty straightforward. One of the biggest things that I really appreciate about it is the ability of seeing the granular level data that we get in here, from basically moving minutes, stepping minutes, and of course looking at trends and information over time, as this keeps the information tracking for you. Heart rate, of course, you can track it and see basically what the highest, the lowest, and what your average BPM, sorry, beats per minute it is. Sounds like music, I'm just talking about that. Steps, of course, you can see here that I did my workout earlier in the morning. That was primarily it. Calorie burn, standing, blood oxygen seems to be running pretty good, running at about 95%. And of course, all that information in a very small, lightweight band that fits on your wrist. So the biggest difference of what we get here obviously is it's a bigger device. We have a larger display, an AMOLED display. We also have GPS tracking for outdoor running without needing to bring your smartphone with you. And of course, we have the ability of using the assistant from Amazon to be able to basically get information, as well as the ability of actually running automation functions straight off of the watch, making that line between smart fitness tracker as well as smartwatch a very blurred line, because every year we keep getting more features and getting closer into what we get directly from the smartwatch. The one thing I will probably say is we don't have the ability of responding back to notifications. So at its best, all you're able to do is see the notification and dismiss it if you don't want to interact with it. But for the most part, it does actually a pretty decent job. I get notifications for whenever I got calls. I get notifications, obviously, whenever new notifications come in, no pun intended. And of course, the overall performance experience here is definitely very nice. It's consistently connected. I don't have to necessarily keep checking on it all the time. Now, one thing I will say, it does not sync to the display or to the phone all the time unless you open up the Mi Fitness application. So this is one thing to kind of push the ability of extending the battery life on this. They're not always running connected directly to the smartwatch or the phone to the watch. The ability of utilizing it as a camera trigger, definitely very nice. I don't know why, but we don't have the ability of seeing the actual camera. So if I was, let's say, using the main camera on the back and I'm stepping away, as long as I'm in the frame, I should be able to be good. But I definitely would recommend you using the front-facing camera so you can at least frame yourself correctly, and then using the trigger directly on the watch. There is an ever so slightly about a 1 second delay from hitting the button, so you can actually position yourself. So it definitely works really nicely. The range is actually pretty decent, but again, it doesn't sync all the time, so you don't necessarily need to worry about that. It does control music playing on your phone, so if you have music playing there, you can control, raise and lower the volume, as well as skip track or go back and track and play and pause. So standard functionalities as we've seen before. Basically the fitness tracking is one of the biggest features here. Obviously, it does have a built-in kind of like a coaching session. You can run basically from an intermediate to an advanced run outdoors, and it gives you kind of steps from basically how to go different intervals to kind of get your heart working in the right mode. It does have auto detection as far as pause and run. So if you're running, let's say if you're in the middle of a run and you take a pause for about a minute or so, it will pause the tracking and it will show up on the watch directly. And of course, it'll restart when you start running again, as it detects motion on your arm. I like all of the functionalities that are in there. The battery life is very nice. Simple, easy to use, very familiar UI elements from what we've seen in the past, definitely just with more functions added. The Amazon Assistant is not available everywhere, so that's going to be dependent on the region that you're in. Please double check their website to make sure that that feature is available in your area. The price difference overall, I will probably say, is typically Mi Bands were roughly around 50 to 60 bucks. This one's going to be running about 100 euros, so about $100 equivalency as far as the experience. And it should work with any device that you're able to install the Mi Fitness application and pair it directly. It did come with one update that you need to download. Make sure when you first pair it, download that update, install it, and you're pretty much set. But other than that, I'm really happy with it. It's small, it's very nimble, offers us a lot of functionalities, a long battery life, and of course, fitness tracking's galore. Basically, this is the bread and butter what this does. It's a fitness tracker at its core, and it does that very nice, and it keeps getting better year over year. So with that being said, I want to say thank you very much to Xiaomi for allowing me to check out the Smart Band 7 Pro, as well as the Xiaomi 12T Pro. And last but not least, of course, attending the launch event last week in Munich, where they also announced actually the Redmi Pad, which is one of the other things that they announced at the time. There was a lot of other things, a lot of other smart home devices that were launched that I didn't have a chance to check out before, but definitely if you guys would like to, I'll give you guys a link in the description below to check out everything new coming from Xiaomi in your area. So With that being said, thank you very much for checking out this video, and like and subscribing as usual, as this helps support the channel and of course keeps us going here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video. Be safe.